The Adventures of Pinocchio. Okay, another classic read aloud story by retired Alaskan schoolteacher. That's me, Jeff Babcock. Now, we began our story of Pinocchio 6 days ago, and today I'm going to read to you chapters 7 and 8. Okay, here we go. So it's Pinocchio, Adventures of Pinocchio by C. Colati, translated from the Italian by Carol Della Cisa, illustrated by Attilio Musino. Okay, and this one was a reissue. It was published in September of 1968. And of course, there's a gazillion different versions of Pinocchio out there. The Walt Disney version, of course, everybody knows about. But a lot of other things have been done too. But this is the original. This is the original classic story. So, published by Macmillan Company in New York and in London. Okay, we're going to do chapter 7. Geppetto returns home and gives his own breakfast to the marionette. Ah, poor Pinocchio. We left off with him. Yeah, it was terrible. The poor marionette, who was still half asleep, had not yet found out that his 2 feet were burned and gone. And as soon as he heard his father's voice, he jumped up from his seat to open the door. But as he did so, he staggered and he fell headlong to the floor. And in falling, he made as much noise as a sack of wood falling from the 5th story of a house. That's like the 1st floor, 2nd floor, 3rd floor, 5th floor. That's a long ways. Open the door for me, Geppetto shouted from the street. Oh, father, dear father, I can't. Ah! Answered the marionette in despair, crying, rolling on the floor. Well, why can't you? Because someone has eaten my feet. Oh, who has eaten your feet? The cat, answered Pinocchio, seeing that the little animal was busily playing around with some shavings in the corner of the room. Open, I say. Open the door, repeated Geppetto, or I'll give you a sound whipping when I get in. Oh, father, believe me, I can't stand up. Oh dear, oh dear. I shall have to walk on my knees all my life. Ah! Geppetto, thinking that all these tears and cries were only the pranks of the marionette, he climbed up the side of the house and went in through the window. And at first, he was very angry. But on seeing Pinocchio stretched out on the floor and really without feet, he felt very sad and sorrowful. And picking him up from the floor, he fondled him and caressed him and talking to him while the tears ran down his cheeks. Oh, my little Pinocchio. Oh, my dear little Pinocchio, how did you burn your feet? I don't know, Father, but believe me, it's been a terrible one. I shall remember it for as long as I live. The thunder was so noisy and the lightning so bright, and I was hungry. And then the talking cricket said to me, "You deserve it. You were bad." And I said to him, "Careful, cricket," and he said to me, "You are a marionette and you have a wooden head." And I threw the hammer at him and I killed him. And it was his own fault, but I didn't want to kill him. And I put the pan on the coals, but the chick flew away and said, "I'll see you again. Remember me to your family." And my hunger grew. And I went out, and the old man with a nightcap looked out of the window, and he threw water on me. And I came home, and I put my feet on the stove to dry them because I was still hungry. And I fell asleep, and now my feet are gone. But my hunger isn't. Oh. And poor Pinocchio began to scream and cry so loudly that he could be heard for miles around. Well, Geppetto, who had understood nothing at all of that jumbled talk, except the marionette was hungry, he felt sorry for him. And pulling 3 pears out of his pocket, he offered them to him, saying, "Well, these 3 pears were for my breakfast, but I give them to you gladly. Eat them and stop weeping." "Oh, if you want me to eat them, yeah, please, yeah, peel them for me." Hmm? "Peel them?" said Geppetto, very much surprised. "Ah, I should never have thought, my dear boy of mine, that you were so dainty and fussy about your food. Bad, that's very bad. In this world, even as children, we must accustom ourselves to eat of everything, for we never know what life may hold in store for us." "Oh, well, you may be right," answered Pinocchio, "but I will not eat the pears if they are not peeled. I don't like them." And good old Geppetto took out a knife, peeled the 3 pears, and put the skins in a row on the table. Oh. Pinocchio ate 1 pear in a twinkling, and he started to throw away the core, but Geppetto held his arm. "Oh, no, no, don't throw it away. Everything in this world may be of some use." "Oh, but the cores I will not eat," cried Pinocchio in an angry tone. "Now, who knows?" repeated Geppetto calmly. And later the 3 cores were placed on the table next to the skins, and Pinocchio had eaten the 3 pears, or rather devoured them, and then he yawned deeply and he wailed, "I'm still hungry." "Oh, but I have no more to give you." "Really? Nothing? Nothing?" "I have only these 3 cores and these skins." "Ah, very well then," said Pinocchio. If there is nothing else, I'll eat them." Now at first he made a wry face, but one after the other, the skins and the cores disappeared. "Ah, now I feel fine," he said after eating the last one. "You see," observed Geppetto, "that I was right when I told you that one must not be too fussy or too dainty about food. My dear, we never know what life may have in store for us." Chapter 8. Geppetto makes Pinocchio a new pair of feet and sells his coat to buy him an ABC book. Ah, ah, ah. The marionette, as soon as his hunger was appeased, he started to grumble and cry that he wanted a new pair of feet. But Mastro Geppetto, in order to punish him for his mischief, let him alone the whole morning. And then finally, after dinner, he said to him, "Why should I make you your feet over again, to see you run away from home once more?" "Oh, I promise you," answered the marionette, sobbing, that from now on, I'll be good." "Oh, boys always promise that when they want something," said Geppetto. "I promise to go to school every day, and to study and to succeed." Boys always sing that song when they want their own will. But I'm not like other boys. I I'm better than all of them, and and I always tell the truth. I promise you, Father, that I learn a trade, and I'll be a comfort and staff of your old age. Geppetto, though trying to look very stern, he felt his eyes fill with tears and his heart soften when he saw Pinocchio so unhappy. And he said no more, but taking his tools and 2 pieces of wood, he set to work diligently, and in less than an hour the feet were finished. 2 slender, nimble little feet, strong and quick, modeled as if by an artist's hands. Close your eyes and sleep, Geppetto said to the marionette. Pinocchio closed his eyes and he pretended to be asleep, while Geppetto stuck on the 2 feet with a bit of glue melted in an eggshell, doing his work so well that the joint could hardly be seen. Now, as soon as the marionette felt his new feet, he gave one leap from the table and he started to skip and jump as if he had lost his head from the very jump. Well, no, to show you how grateful I am, Father, I'm going to go to school now. But to go to school, I need a suit of clothes. Geppetto did not have a penny in his pocket, so he made his son a little suit of flowered paper, a pair of shoes from the bark of a tree, and a tiny cap from a bit of dough. And Pinocchio ran to look at himself in a bowl of water, and he felt so happy that he said proudly, "Now I look like a gentleman." "Oh, truly," answered Geppetto. But remember that fine clothes do not make the man unless they be neat and clean." "Oh, very true," answered Pinocchio. But in order to go to school, I still need something very important." "Oh, what is it?" "Ah, an ABC book." "Oh, to be sure. Ah, but how shall we get it?" "Well, that's easy. We'll go to the bookstore and buy it." "Oh, and the money?" "Eh, I have none." "Well, neither have I," said the old man sadly. Pinocchio, although a happy boy always, he became sad and downcast at these words. And when poverty shows itself, even mischievous boys understand what it means. What does it matter after all?" cried Geppetto all at once, as he jumped up from his chair and putting on his old coat full of darns and patches, he ran out of the house without another word. And after a while he returned, and in his hands he had the ABC book for his son. But the old coat was gone. The poor fellow was in his shirt sleeves, and the day was cold. "Oh, where's your coat, Father?" "Oh, I sold it." "Huh. But why did you sell your coat?" Uh, it was too warm." Pinocchio understood the answer in a twinkling, and unable to restrain his tears, he jumped on his father's neck and kissed him over and over again. Chapter 9, okay? Pinocchio sells his ABC book to pay his way into the marionette theater.